Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. Before we get started here, we have an amazing guest coming up, Chad Kennedy, who is going to be sharing his next leg of his journey for C2C for PTSD. But first of all, I just want to thank our sponsor for today's show, the Left Foot Coach, an innovative entrepreneurial venture partner that will take your income and self-expression to the next level. With this established 5-pillar methodology, the Left Foot Coach can help you build a solid foundation for success and expand your full potential. As a venture growth coach, the Left Foot Coach is dedicated to partnering with you in your established business to help you grow your income and achieve your goals. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a professional looking to take your career to the next level, the Left Foot Coach can provide you with support, guidance, and resources you need to succeed. If you're ready to unlock your full potential and achieve your dreams, then schedule a free 30-minute consultation today. Trust me, as somebody who has used the Left Foot Coach, you definitely want to give Christian a try. So go over to calendly.com/XIN left /30-minute month equals 2023-5. All right. Now I just want to bring Chad to the stage. Thank you so much, Chad. Where the heck are you at right now in your leg?
I am
Your journey?
In Edmundston, New Brunswick. And yeah, it's crazy. Crazy to think that, last year, obviously, the goal was to get all the way out to the East Coast, but we had a medical emergency and we had to get Rick back to British Columbia. But for even to be on the second leg and already have walked 2 weeks from just outside of Quebec City to actually physically, we've already walked 100 kilometers into New Brunswick, but this has sort of been our base camp for the last, 7 or 8 days. But it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's always incredible with you. And for those of you that didn't see the first episode, you really got to go to our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomers, to see the first episode, because Chad and I, Chad's like my brother, and so we just get going. And so for those of you that missed it, why are you walking? First of all, is my first question.
Okay, and that's a great question, and easier than some of the other questions you've thrown at me. And as I've gone along my journey last year, I've realized that I can be more honest with myself, so I can be truly honest and open with everybody. So I was one of the first 6 law enforcement officers to attend a bus rollover in Jasper National Park back in 2020 with no help from fire and EMS for like an hour and 22 minutes. 2 weeks after that event and not being able to talk about what I had experienced truly, I had my suicide plan put together August 2nd of 2020, and I was going to die. And during my drunken stupor, I decided to walk the country. And I stuck with my plan. I threw it out there into the social media world, and it's just become a part of my journey. And thankfully, I'm still here to share my story. The walking part was just sort of the focus on the campaign period is what saved my life. I didn't. I wasn't laying on the couch eating potato chips and cheeseburgers and riding the depressive train. I had something to focus on outside of therapy that kept my brain busy and sort of gave me a purpose. So now that walk has it's become a reality. And the promise that the campaign made, initially we thought was an impossible mission, but was to just connect with one human being that's been kissed with post-traumatic stress or an OSI or a TBI and inspire them not to go down the suicide route. And see, that whole suicide thing, for some, it's such a scary, horrible word when we're in a position like I was, or in a state of mind, deep, dark place. It's a peaceful word. It's, we can end things, end the pain, but we don't ever think about the ripple effect that it has on our friends, family, loved ones, colleagues, etc.
Right.
So yeah, we've had a lot of positive feedback and people who over the last 2 years who have contacted us and said, "Hey, man, because of your campaign, I'm still here and I'm getting help." So it's incredible, and words can't describe how good you can feel when somebody has made that choice, end it or start over.
Right. And thank you for sharing that, because I don't think you actually shared that the first time that you were on our show. You didn't tell me that you actually had a D-Day. And so thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that, because there's somebody out there listening right now that's like in the same position that you are in. And they're like either ready to put the gun to their head or pop the pills or whatever their mode is. And thank you for sharing that, because if if you could do it, then they can do it, right? And
Right.
that's the whole premise of why I started this, because I never wanted people to feel alone in their circumstances. And wow, you've done a lot of healing since last year, brother. That is
I
amazing.
have. It's and it's still a work in progress. Even when I'm on the road, I've got my regularly scheduled psychology visits, virtually, obviously, but it's it just becomes a part of life. And some of my psychology appointments on the road are a 10-minute visit just to update my clinician, because she loves the journey. And other times I just need to puke all this shit out, because these are the emotions,
Right.
and the demons that I still battle on the road. So you know what? To me now, it's just regular maintenance. It's like going in and getting an oil change on your car. And you really, I really believe that August 2nd of 2020, D-Day, if you want to call it, the next day, truly August 3rd, was the first day of my new life. And yeah, it seems really crazy. And believe me, a guy like myself, all my friends in the past know I'm that beer drinking, rum sipping, cigarette smoking, cheese ball eating guy that's all shits and giggles. And then your life switches to I'm out advocating and speaking truths about mental health and what those of us in the public safety world and the military / veterans go through. It's kind of cool, and to be open about it. And I feel better when I'm telling the full truth versus, in my darkest hour.
Right.
Well, that could mean anything. I mean, if you know me, if I get a paper cut, that is my darkest hour. So I'm out of commission with the paper cut or a man cold. So yeah, to define what my darkest hour was, and I truly found that last year. I think it was, oh geez, I want to say it was maybe Sudbury. It might have been Thunder Bay where I used the term suicide. But where I first used it on camera in an interview was Sudbury, I believe, with CTV, where I used the word suicide. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to air that. They might bleep that out because suicide is a bad word, like stigma. But yeah, so now I'm comfortable with myself and sharing that, and with everybody else. So to me, it's just a word.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to mean anything. It just means
No.
that in that moment that you're thinking of other options. And all I ask is that if somebody is thinking of those options, that is permanent. So reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
you know, whether that be the hotline or whether that be a friend, because sometimes just talking to a friend, a lot of us just want to be heard, right?
Yep.
Because in those dark moments, we have no idea, and suicide is permanent, so don't make a permanent solution to a um, short-term problem. And it doesn't feel like a short-term problem. I get it when you're going through there, trust me. I've had depression, I've been in moments where I thought life would have been easier without me, so I get it. And I'm not making light of the situation that you're facing right now, but reach out to somebody. I swear, pick something as your focal point. For me, it was
Yeah.
my pictures of my nephews. That was my focal point. And whenever I had dark moments, I would always either bring it to the forefront of my mind, or if I had it out, then I just looked at that. So find something that will bring you back
Yes.
to the present. Because
Yes.
I believe when you're in those dark moments, you're not in the present. You're thinking of the past. You're thinking of shit that's gone down. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chad.
No, you're 100% right. And I truly believe now. I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual. I believe in paranormal weirdness and coolness because I love that stuff. But this thing in our head is very demonic. Demonic, yeah, you know what I mean. It's a little demon in there, and
I agree with you.
you cannot you cannot carry on with that thing doing what it's doing, which is pushing you to be alone
Right.
in a quiet place, to leave you with your thoughts. It truly it wants to kill you. So that's where, a focal point or learning tools and gaining the resources on how to just keep them in the back there. Yeah, I live with the dude. He is stuck in my head. He's never going to pop out of there. But when you get those tools in place and you can find the positives, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but so worth it. So every now and then he pokes his head out, and I just, whatever, dude. I'm just going to push on with the positives. I'm going to process what shit you're feeding me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to replace that with, it's usually 3 good thoughts, or I grab that thought while I'm walking down the highway. And it's like, how can I turn this horrible thought into something positive? And believe me, you're going to find something positive with every story that goes through your brain.
Absolutely. Another thing, trick or tool, if you will, that I've learned from my coaches and mentors and doctors that I've been interviewing or had the pleasure to associate with, take 10 deep breaths. It actually gets it trains your brain to like shut off for a minute and then restart.
Yeah.
So taking 10 deep breaths is critical. Actually, my friend Dr. Janelle Royster, that's the first thing she said, is like, in the moment, just 10 deep breaths, stop what you're doing, doesn't matter who's around you, doesn't matter if you look like a damn fool, doesn't matter. It is you right now, it's survival, and you need to take those 10 deep breaths. So it restarts everything, your nervous system and everything.
Hell yeah. It's so easy. I can go back to training back in the military and through law enforcement, and it's really tactical breathing. You're just, okay, calm your brain, get in tune with what is happening in the now. And yeah, it's a restart. And obviously, you're not always taking 10 long breaths in and breathing out, but it calms the situation. And I thought, well, shit, I was taught how to breathe 32 years ago, and now it's such a big play in the mental health world. And it's a quick form of meditation.
Yes.
And you can zone out in oh fuck. I mean, shitballs. There, I had to throw it. Shitballs.
Yes. For those of you that are, you need to go back and watch the first episode. I swear, it was amazing. He come up with shit balls. I come up with monkey balls. It was balls all around. On the balls note, we're just going to take a quick break here for our next sponsor of today's show. I just want to give out a shout out to Bonnie Herb with doTERRA oils. Did you know that doTERRA essential oils can help support your body physically, mentally, and emotionally to help achieve your optimal health? Aromatherapy is a very powerful tool, and for more information, contact Bonnie today at 810-414-0929 or go to her website, beoilywithbonnie.com. So, okay, I'm going to ask you a hard question because I know we were.
Oh no.
Yeah, and if you want to pass on this, you can.
Okay.
Because I didn't talk to you before we hit record.
Okay. Trickster.
I know, right? And but I want to meet you where you're at. So the other day in the news, there was another accident out that way. Another bus accident with 15 killed. And I know I saw your post on social media, but did that bring up anything from your accident that you were involved in?
Absolutely. Rick, it was actually Rick, my safety dude, who told me about it. Last year around this time, it was pretty close to this time, I actually picked my brother up at that same intersection. He had flown in from way up north, flew to Winnipeg. Anyways, that was our meeting spot, so he could join us for a week. And I was like, holy shit. And then immediately my brain just goes to, I froze. I'm like, oh shit. And my heart right away went out to all the public safety professionals that had to attend. Yeah. Obviously my deepest sympathies go to the families. Words can't explain. And it's something, I just can't put myself in the family's shoes. Exactly. But it's heartbreaking. And that post came right from the heart. It's like, man, people talk about it now. Don't wait for 2 or 3 days down the road when somebody's going to plan a critical incident debrief, because that could be too late. That's the one thing I can relate to is how people lollygagged from the time of our event to, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'd already had started going down that dark path of I can't process anything that went on. So huge. And then, I had a few messages from people who had gone through the Humboldt tragedy after this Manitoba one. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. It brings back a lot of horrible memories. And all we can do is offer, extend our hand out and say, hey, if all you need to do is puke out that stuff, I'm here to listen. And I can relate to the situation. I can't relate to the emotions you're going through because we all go through it differently. So it's not that I know what you're going through. I can relate. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very sad.
And I think we all deal with grief our own way, right? And so what might take me out, you're going to be like, oh shit, that's just like nothing, and vice versa, right? And yes, our hearts go out to the families of that tragedy, and really, if you're needing to talk, but just reach out to one of us, and we'll be glad to listen. And so yeah, but see, that's part of your healing journey, right? You could hear that and still be okay. I can sympathize with them, but you're not taking that on. And that's the power of healing from PTSD. And that's why you're walking C2C for PTSD, because we want everybody to be healed. And actually, I don't know if you've seen the new hashtag I made, brother, in the last 2 months, and it's hashtag healed is sexy. So
I love it. Are you going to make shirts? I want a shirt that says that.
You know what? Maybe I should.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, frig. Okay, there we go.
Healing is sexy.
Healed is sexy. Yes.
Yeah.
So, we came up with that on our show a couple months ago, and it's true. Whether we all have baggage, we all have shit in our past. We all do, unless you've been living under a rock. And I believe, especially with the pandemic, we all have suffered from PTSD. That is something that the world has brought together. Like, I don't care who you are, and especially within our children. I've seen it within our own children, and so that's one thing that we, as that we have to really take the time for you and heal yourself. And anybody who's confident, like the more confident you are, the more sexy you are, the more attractive you are. And, and to me, that's just what it was. So that's where we came up with healed is sexy. Actually, we were talking to a sex therapist and it came out.
That is awesome.
Who's going to be on the show? And that's okay.
I don't know. I had a cool encounter with a sex therapist, and yeah.
Oh, really? Tell us more.
Yeah. You want to hear about it real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, a couple months ago, I was at the SIP Cert and Cypher conference in Ottawa, and was a guest as a mental health champion. And I was there with a couple other champions from across the country. And one of those conversations at our table at the end of the day, having a pint. And I'm like, thank God my girlfriend follows me around everywhere I go. And she's like, what? And I said, yeah, like this post-traumatic stress stuff has really ruined me. My sex drive, my ability to feel that closeness, or, it's just destroyed that part of me. And she says, oh, I've got something for you to try. I'm like, what? So there was the name of a toy. And she's like, you just got to be comfortable about putting that up your bum. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I'm a sex therapist. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this is what you did as a public safety professional. Well, I had to leave that line of work. And so I got into this. I'm like, good on you. So, I didn't try the toy. She didn't have it, but she's kind enough to send me a link and saying, if you use this promo code, you get 20% off. I'm like, I'm just not there yet. And I'm always willing to try new things because I'm an adventurer, unless it's jumping out of airplanes or bungee jumping or sticking things up my bum at the moment.
Oh my God.
But she tried helping, and I'm still connected with her on social media. Yeah, but she's doing, she, through her journey with PTSD, it was the same thing, no sex drive. So she started experimenting and researching stuff, and now she's able to help people with that. So that's a serious side of things, right. As I'm sure any sex therapist will tell you, like, they know their stuff.
Well, and since you were open to share, as a female, this never shuts off. And so sometimes when we're in our head and our vagina are connected. Yes, guys, it are connected. And so if this is going too fast and too furious, I can't get intimate with my husband. There's just no way. And so and that's why, it's funny because I never had a sex therapist on the show. Then I had two come on the show and learning all of this, right? And I'm thinking, I'm just weird. I'm thinking, my husband's amazing, but why am I not being able to get out of my head enough that I can be present? And that's a thing. Men have a box in their head with nothing in it. Women do not. And it takes a lot. It took a lot for me to understand. And that came from a male coach, Drew Durency. He said, yeah, Dorothy, believe it or not, men have a box that has, like, we can think of nothing. And I'm like, how is that possible? I really want to know. I don't know. God made us this way.
Well, it's because when guys are being guys, our brains just fall out and they go downstairs, and we start thinking with that other head. I don't know, but I can. Oh, this is awesome, and this is going to air. People are going to be like, what is wrong with this guy?
No,
But
this is awesome. This
it
is
is
awesome. And
sex talk with Chad and Dorothy. That's just great.
This is what the world wants and needs. This is
Yeah.
like, people need to realize that they're not alone in it. And whether it's not being able to be intimate with your partner, or whether it's walking the country, all of Canada, saying, hey, I'm a stand for you. I believe in you. I've been through this shit and here I am today. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's why we talk about everything in between, from the serious to the shitballs to not being able to have
balls.
sex. This is what it is.
But it's and it's it's real life conversations. Yes. And when I go and talk to people, we meet people. Yesterday was the Edmundston Fire Department that we're there with the chief, the deputy chief, and the ranks below them. And we just have a conversation about mental health, and nobody's there judging. Nobody shakes their head and walks out of the room. It's just a conversation. 2 days ago, we met 2 of our soldiers that were on their way back to Gagetown. Sure, they look like they're going to kick your ass kind of military guys, nicest guys in the world. And you know what? The importance of mental health is worth being spoken about. And these guys were talking openly about mental health. Yeah. So it's the way I say it, it kind of blows my mind, is you and I having a conversation. That's all it is. It's 2 friends catching up. We're talking about the realities of what human beings go through. Not everybody, but this is what we go through on our journey. And a stranger walks cross country as not only a veteran, but a public safety professional. And I'm just starting conversations with people, or people stopping along the way, just that thank you. They don't need to speak anymore. I know what that thank you means. And I know what that big bear hug, that emotional hug is. And then they're on their way. It's like, what just happened? Yeah. But then folks like us, having this conversation, we become, and now these are things that people have sent to me, is, thank you for being a voice for the voiceless, or being a breath for the breathless. You got to process that sometimes. And I think because I started talking openly about stuff, I just expect everybody to be that open about it. Yeah. But they cannot.
No. And for those men and women that can't speak about it yet, connect with us, and I know trained professionals that will get you to a point where you can even talk about it openly, whether it be with your spouse or somebody that you love, or openly. So trust me, I have an arsenal of doctors and trained professionals at my fingertips that are waiting to help. Chad, when you said the breathless, I was just like, that took me back for a minute. I was just like, yes, that's why you're here. Like, right. Because for those people that decided to take the suicide route, and if I'm not going to get into the what ifs, because that will drive us crazy. But if I would have talked about this maybe 10 years ago, or after my uncle did commit suicide, how many more could have been helped? But I'm not going down that road. We're talking about the here and now. And that's why we're talking for the people that are still here, and we're talking for the people that are no longer here. Right. And to make sure that, 136 people die by suicide per day, whether that's civilian and military. So we're here to crunch that number down to nothing is my goal. But and yours too, I'm sure. And that's why we're here talking today, because we believe in you. We believe that there's a higher purpose other than ourselves, and to help you. So did you end up starting that book? Because I know you were.
Yeah. Well, I did. It's amazing. I don't journal. I just don't. I could make time for it. I just don't enjoy it. Doesn't work for me. But when I did start my book, when we got back from the first leg. And the goal was, my personal goal was wanting the first book complete and just call it chapter 1 of whatever I'm going to call it, and be able to have copies on the road with us. And then, reality set in and said, I want to be able to finish walking the country and put it all together in one book, or, having a good friend that's going to help me, Kimberly Tent, such an amazing woman. Maybe she can break it down into 2 parts, but I really want to be able to say that we've done the country and the comparison with mental health programs, what works, what doesn't, who's got stuff in place, who doesn't, and what those challenges are. So as I go along, whatever platform you read, my writings on every morning on social media, those are basically, that's my journaling. Here's what happened yesterday. Here were the challenges. So at the end of the walk, I can really go back to everything and print that all off and shoot it to Kimberly, and she can sort stuff out. So there's, I don't know how many pages I've typed already on the laptop, and just, okay, I'm going to put this on pause. So all the shit that pukes out onto typing every morning, that is the real, like, there's days where it's very emotional, days where it's very challenging, but I want to remember that. So it is a form of journaling, I guess. So yeah, at some point, I would say early 2024, that book will be out there.
I love that. And I have to say, I do journal, and that's how I wrote my first book. But what I've realized is, with my time crunches that I do have, I use my StreamYard, and I'll do like a recording. Like, if something really happened, like Dear Diary, like, I don't know how many of those I have, right? And it's just because as I'm walking, I walk everywhere just like you. I'm not walking the country, but I'm walking in my neighborhood. How about that? Or at work.
That's
And
awesome.
when I think of these things and something that's like really hit me, I'll do like a quick video so that I could go back later. And because I believe that there's going to be a documentary. How did the woman that had nothing and is from Windsor, Ontario, make it to where she's at today? Right? I don't know, something along those lines. And anyways, after we win our Nobel Peace Prize and everything like that, for helping our military men and women.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm just putting
You
it
never
out
know.
there.
You never know.
I just know that God told me to do it, so that's why I'm doing it. But there's that way. So what would be what is the biggest thing you've had to overcome since you started this journey?
That is a great question. That is truly a great question. I think the biggest thing I've had to overcome, and the biggest thing I have to recognize for myself, is truly I have lost everything. The best relationship of my life. Truly the only person I've ever really loved, been in love with. I pushed her away. Not seeing my daughter and my grandkids for a couple of years. So, I've accepted that has happened. I had to lose everything to gain everything. And, to some people that'll make sense. And I'm okay with it. My now ex, obviously, is, she's in a good relationship. She's happy. That's what makes me happy. It's not a jealousy thing. It's nothing. I really think about her every day, and the shit that she had to live with, because of the shit I was living with, it wasn't good for her. So yeah, losing everything to gain everything is probably the biggest hurdle. I'm one of those people that when the right help was offered to me therapy wise, I put in 110%. It's like the walk.
Mhm.
I go out every day, and I tell you, shit balls. There are days I get up out of bed where I've lacked sleep and I don't want to walk the highway. I'm exhausted. So I'll go out and I'll walk as far as I can. Um, and you know what? If I don't make the daily goal because I listen to my body, um, then I call it quits for the day. But I will push myself to take that last few steps before I can say, you know what, I've done what I can do. So yeah, I'm still learning. Like every day is still an obstacle and a challenge for me.
Right. Well, and kudos to you for acknowledging that, right? First, part of half the problem with us is we have to acknowledge that there is a problem,
Yep.
and to accept it. Doesn't mean you have to like it. It means you have to accept it, not beat yourself up for it. Give yourself the grace, right? And to okay, so tomorrow's another day, right? And not be in. And I think that's what a lot of people who suffer from depression and anxiety and PTSD is because they're living in the past, and you can't do that.
No.
You have to look in the you have to go forward, right?
Yeah.
And so I love that you. I love on one hand that you said, the people that like your spouse and or your significant other, because I want to put a program together for our spouses, um, whether that be for heroes, badges, and warriors or civilians. It doesn't matter. I want to start with our heroes, badges, and warriors first, and work our way down to civilians. But I'm putting something together for our spouses because I think it's so important with
Yes.
the divorce rate the way it is within our military and our first responders. It's absolutely insane. I believe the last thing I heard was 85% of all marriages end in divorce, and so I really want to end that. Like, I really want to bring our families together, and who knows, maybe past relationships. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know that our spouses need help too.
Yes.
And that is from every veteran that I've talked to. It's like the spouses are the unsung heroes that, that they're still with their spouse. But it is, they don't understand what you guys go through on the front lines. And they're so busy with the kids and things like that. And you don't understand the stresses they have with you being out and them not being able to reach you
That's right.
and things like that. And then once you transition from the veteran space into civilian world, that's even a whole other thing. They're used to you not being home. And now when you're home, now you're the king. And like, wait a minute, I had to be the queen for how many years? And now you
Yeah.
just want to walk through that door and take everything that I've built over the last 20 some odd years or however long it's been. And now here it is. So I want to help all of that, all of
Yeah.
y'all. And so, yeah, maybe that's a thing we could work with together. And after you're done your walk, and maybe that's something that we could build together. I don't know. All I know is that it's being built, and I believe it's truly necessary
Yes, it
because
is.
I want to save marriages. I want to save lives, save marriages. And okay, bottom line is we all need therapy. But if like you said, even the kids are affected, let's just save families, right? Let's just
Yeah.
and I believe every family should go through some kind of therapy anyways.
Yes, they should.
So anyways, that's just my soapbox for a minute. Sorry, I didn't mean to get I'm so
Oh,
passionate about
that's
that is
great.
because
Yeah, I can tell. And that's great. We need voices like you that are that passionate. How can we save the world? Well,
yeah,
baby steps. You
baby
start with,
steps.
yes, you start with one couple, and and you will find something that can help everybody. And uh, to me, it's so important. So important. My dad has had complex PTSD for the last 20, 21 years, 22 years, and my mom is still with him. I don't know how the hell they stuck together because I've been around when, yeah, it's like, I'm just going to go outside and have a smoke and let you two do what you got to do. And, but I think, oh my God, like you guys did it. And they still, with them both being retired now, yeah, they both got to find hobbies at the opposite end of the house because we're not designed to be around each other 24/7.
Mhm.
Now, if that offends anybody, that's just my opinion.
I,
That's
I
why COVID destroyed a lot of things for a lot of families, right?
Right. Well, and okay, so I totally get you because I used to be so embarrassed. I refused to bring anybody home when I was living with my parents. It was like when I did, it was embarrassing as shit. But what I found out, like my parents were married for 47 years before my dad passed away. And I said to my parents, I said, you guys are damn embarrassing when I bring anybody over. And they go, what are you talking about? I said, the way you two talk to each other. You're like yelling and screaming at each other at the freaking at the dining table. She goes, that's just how we talk to each other. That's normal communication. If we didn't have that, we would think the other one was mad at each other. So sometimes when we're the outsider looking in, even in our own family, being the outsider, that's how they survive. Like that's how they thrive through their marriage. That's not to say marriage was easy, because 47 years, that's a hell of a long time to be married to somebody. But that was just their style of communication. So sometimes we don't have to get each couple's style of communication as long as it works for them. And so as soon as my mom told me that, I was like, oh, okay. So it clicked, and I wasn't afraid to bring people home after that. But seriously, it was embarrassing. I was just like, oh my God.
Yo, Martha, pass the fucking potatoes. Whoa, what is that? Your mom's name is not Martha. I don't want to just assume. But yeah, no. Be like the old Archie Bunker days, right? Edith. Right?
You know what?
It's like,
you just brought a memory to my mind. So this is what I heard. My grandfather, back in when he had 5 kids. They had 5 kids. So my grandfather would take his fork, whip the fork down, and put it into the bread bowl, and say, "Can you pass me my fork?" Could you imagine living at that for a bun or a bread or whatever the hell it was in the basket? But that is how he communicated at the dinner table. Could you imagine?
Maybe we need to bring all the old school stuff back. And
maybe.
Right.
Oh, well, they were married for over 50 years. So, hey.
Entertaining when we look back at it.
Yeah.
Congrats. My parents are just going on. This will be their 52nd year. 50, I don't know. But yeah, it's a heck of a long time. And so, especially with that PTSD demon there in their lives, and mom stood beside them. I'm thinking, oh my God, how did you do that? But yeah, there's survivors.
Because back then, that generation didn't give up on each other. And we need to bring that back, right? And trust me, I've been with my husband for 6 years. We've been married. It will be 4 years October that we've been married. And there are days that I'm just like, oh my gosh. But then, and him too, like he'll say to me, like when he's had enough, he'll go, I'm going to bed. I've had enough for today. We'll talk about it. Like, we'll be back tomorrow. And that's what he does. And at first I was like really angry. I'm like, why are you walking away from me? I'm not finished. But then I realized, wait a minute, instead of walking out the door permanently, that's his way of saying, okay, I've had enough for today. Yeah. We'll resume tomorrow. Life will be better. And so, yeah. And I think that's what we need to do. We not give up on each other, just bring it back. Wow. We've talked about everything in between today. That's awesome. So where's the next leg of your trip?
I wish I had believe me, it's no different than last year. The team is amazing. Our logistics person and Rick, the safety guy. I'm kept in the dark most of the time. It's like, just walk. Don't worry about anything. Yeah. I'm just told, okay, here's when we're packing up. Here's where we're moving to. I want to say, Fredericton is our next sort of base camp. Right. And like I say, we're already way east of our location here, walking wise. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll set up base camp in Edmond or in Fredericton, backtrack, walk our way to Fredericton. Yeah, I know there's some pretty amazing events that are going to be planned with some of our veterans, and that's about all I know.
That's awesome. So where do you, obviously, if somebody wanted to donate to the cause, where's the best place for them to do that?
I'd love to say GoFundMe, but GoFundMe likes to take their percentage. And not to say we don't appreciate everybody who has helped us out on GoFundMe, but they can e-transfer at chad.kennedy. Are you writing this down?
I'm writing this down. Yes, sir.
Chad.kennedy at C2C for PTSD.com. So it's C as in the ocean, SEATOSEAFOR, PTSD.com. You want me to spell check that for you?
Let me put it in the box here, and you can tell me if this is right.
It's going in the box, like the empty box in my head, because I'm a guy.
Hey, the guy told me that.
I gotta meet this guy.
I'll connect you. PTSD.com. All right. So I'm going to put it in the private chat before I make this public. And then let me know if that's spelled right.
Chad.kennedy. Oh, no, you got to take the U out of the 4.
All right.
FOR.
FOR. Oh, yeah, I didn't listen correctly. Imagine that.
Oh,
I'll blame it on my hearing. I do have shitty hearing.
Me too.
For PTSD.
The power of technology, folks.
There we go. There we go. So now that's right, that is right. I will put it in the banner and I'll put it here because, like, really, there we go. Chad Kennedy at C2C for PTSD.com. You can make your donations there. Yes. For our US friends, then just contact Chad, and you can contact Chad on social media. I know on LinkedIn it's Chad, isn't it Chad Kennedy?
It's Chad Kennedy. It's just me. Yep.
Just Chad Kennedy. So yeah, connect with Chad because we do have 80% of our listeners are from the United States of America.
Yeah, crazy. Well, believe it or not, and just anybody that may feel uncomfortable, a lot of the folks that follow the campaign or myself, we're tied into U.S. Marines, CIA guys, the FBI. Like, to me,
there's no division.
There's no division.
It's funny because I have a guy out in California that's been following me for the last 2 years, and he goes, "I can't believe that you help U.S. veterans," and his mind is blown. And he's like, and that's why he wants to work with me, because eventually I'm bringing what I'm doing in U.S. to Canada, but I'm fine tuning it in the U.S. and then I'll bring it to Canada. Because it doesn't matter where it starts. The fact of it is, people are being helped. People are, and that's the thing. So if you're an American, contact either myself or Chad, and we will help you get it. If you want to, definitely support C2C or PTSD, because this is an amazing organization. You've seen Chad. Chad is an awesome brother. Helps our military, our veterans, our first responders, helps anybody in need, really. So we just thank you so much for coming on today, sharing your time with us. And as always, it's a freaking pleasure to have you here.
Oh, it's always fun. It's fun with you. And, I throw this out there to all the amazing people that have shows like yours. It's a big thank you, because you're helping get our voices out. And even if it just resonates with one person, mission accomplished. So kudos to you. Keep up the great work with your show. And thank you for making time to visit with us.
Absolutely. I am going to make it out there. I don't know when, and I'm not going to promise a date, but I have to. I've been saying this now since you started. I get that. I
Yes, you
really
have.
get that.
That's
And
okay.
it's going to happen. Whether it's by the time you're done, there's some things happening in my space. So I need to get that cleaned up. That we can travel the world. Um,
Yes.
I love that. Yes. And I just got to do one last shout out here. If anybody is in had anything to do with the cancer space or been following my journey here, my dad passed away of cancer a year and a half ago, and we are doing a second annual Don Graham Memorial Classic. So it will be August 19th. In Tilbury, Ontario. So if you're a golfer or if you are a business owner and want to help sponsor a hole or help sponsor the event, that would be great. And all the proceeds are going to the peer support group in Chatham, Kent, cancer peer cancer support group in Chatham, Kent. It's a great organization that helps others that are either patients, survivors, caregivers, you name it. We help them all. And so if you would like to be a part of that, contact me. And so, yeah, that's another thing I do.
Awesome.
Isn't that awesome? I
Yeah.
help everybody. That's my problem.
I, I'm the same. I want to just help everybody, and I think it's beautiful being a part of that community that just wants to help everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
That is right. So follow Chad on LinkedIn or Facebook. Hey, I even noticed you got TikTok going on, brother. That's amazing.
Oh,
Right?
I got the TikTok. This is quick funny story about that. I started TikTok a couple of years ago, and like, great, there's 2 people to watch my videos. And so when I was out walking, like when I walk, so here's a little tidbit for you. When you walk, don't listen to these things in your ears. Like, don't, like, pack your phone with you because you want to do your little videos and pictures. Um, but process everything that's going on in your mind. Listen to what the vehicles are doing, what the birds are doing. Listen to your body. Very important, so you don't overdo anything. Um, so I was out walking. It was a Monday, and it was just one of those horrible, challenging days. So I am like, well, I got the TikTok. I'll make a little video because I can add music. And it just started becoming a normal thing. So what am I going through? How can I relate, or how can people relate with me? It's connecting. So, I mean, TikTok, I've got about 240 fans now, which is cool. That's 240 more than I had, a couple months ago. But then that platform, I'm able to copy, throw it on to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if I feel it's Twitter appropriate. Yeah, it's like that video journal. What am I talking about now? I'll be walking down the highway. Boom, this is what's on my brain. And yesterday, it's just posted a video about how somebody loves you. You're important in somebody's life. Your friends want to hang out with you. You're here another day. You survived the week. People need to be reminded that sometimes because they're having a really shitty day. Well, I'm having a shitty day, and I've got to remind myself.
Yeah.
The guy driving behind me loves me. My parents back home love me. There's people that want to meet us along the way and hang out. Like, we are important to somebody else, and we have to remember that. So, yeah, the TikTok. And I figured it would help me get back into, when we start doing social engagements along the walk again, where I've got to get up in front of people and, sort of work on my anxiety level. So, yeah, while we were off, I did a couple big talks in front of a lot of people, and I still hold on to the podium. I'm shaking, and
But you're doing it.
But I'm doing it. It's way out of my comfort zone. And crazy enough, years ago, I was a DJ, like nightclub, country bar, may or may not have been a strip bar in there too. Did DJing at weddings. Like, I was always in front of huge crowds with a microphone and doing a lot of public speaking through volunteer work I've done. And then after this post-traumatic stress stuff pops in, it robbed me from that. So getting in front of crowds, is scary to me. I don't sleep the night before. And anyway, so that's why the TikTok, figured that would help me start taking my thoughts and putting into words properly so people understand. But it's cool. It's a tool, and I have fun doing it.
It is fun. I find those videos that I do, I wanted to, because LinkedIn's professional and Facebook is Facebook. And I wanted, sometimes I share all over, but I wanted a platform where I could just be like silly and just do whatever. I like the dancing videos is what I like. And I use it. I'm not going to say numb out because I don't numb out, but when I've had a hectic week and I just really need something to like stop this, I'll listen to those to stupid TikTok videos or dancing videos or whatever, and it calms me right down.
Yeah.
And we got to use what we use in order to get through that day, right? And
Yeah,
for me, that's just basically how I use the platform. However, I've used it more for business purposes and stuff like that too. And I haven't quite got the stupid videos because I was in my head about, well, what if I look like a fool? Well, now thanks to Dr. Janelle Royster and her trip protocols that she did on me the other day, I just don't give a shit. So watch out because there's going to be some funky stuff coming down.
I'm excited. And see, there's another thing too, right? With we get to a point in our life where we're worried about what other people think about us. And I got to the point in my healing journey, I'm like, I really don't give a shit. It's either you like me or you don't like me. The cyber bullies out there, the people that want to smear my
heroes. That's all they are.
Or keyboard heroes or cowboys, whatever they are, is like, you follow everything I do and you bash me for what I do and how I do it. And I'm like, you moron. You're obviously a fan if you're following everything I do. So if you don't like what I'm doing, get out of here. Unfollow. It's that, or I'll block you.
And what are those people doing in their homes? Like, we're out here giving a voice to the voiceless. What are they doing?
Right? Nothing. How can I be miserable and share it with the world? Okay. They're going through their own challenges.
And no judgment to those keyboard warriors.
No, not at all.
Just unfriend us. That's all we ask.
Just don't like us and keep your thoughts to yourself. I don't even know where I was going, but you know what? There's always going to be those people. There's always going to be the haters. And quite some time ago, I did a TikTok while I was walking in the mountains back home. It's like, I'm not going to hate the haters. They've got enough hate going on in their life. But you've got to realize that those haters are also fans. So they just don't know how to expel their energy in a more positive manner.
Or they could just be having a bad day when they typed it. Who knows?
Yeah.
We all have bad days.
Yes, we do.
And be sending love and peace to you all.
Yes.
With that, friends, thank you so much, Chad, for your time.
Hey, thank you.
And for those of you that are going to be on the replay and things like that, tell us if you're live or replay, and definitely let us know where you're tuning in from. We want to know how far this goes, and we're on Roku now. So look us up on Roku because this is going to go viral. I just know it. Viral.
Yeah, it should.
Friends. It will.
It is. It will.
It is.
I love it.
Right. Thanks, friends. Be unstoppable in all that you do. And remember, same time, same channel next week.